off strong here and continue to build that lead, also denying CLG the early buildup of a CT economy, and we could be looking at another home run for the guys on Optic to start off well in a first half. So it's actually very, very direct, too. When you look at Optic, pretty much everybody going through Monster. One guy wrapping back around to construction, but the initial holder of Monster, which was Tarek, it gets absolutely decked. Fugly does respond with his own pickup, but Hayes now being pressured back inside of CT Cubby. They're not going to let him stay alive, though, as Rush jumps in there and finishes him off.
Yeah, and now Fugly's been spotted on the flank as well. They know there's one Monster. They know they're coming up short as well. And look at the setup from Optic. So many different angles that CLG is going to have to clear out. So many different crossfires that can be set up. Stan's got a good perch here between both sides, and he's distracting Color as much as possible. Now commits to the duel against Fugly, wins that, and it's all over. Just not enough success with the pistols for CLG. They fall in this opening round, so Optic take the lead. And does CLG choose to buy into this round?
Very well played by Stanisol there, too. Just making sure he keeps the pressure at bay. And also able to support both the construction push along with making sure that player from Monster does not overwhelm them there. So they're going to start off strong, and as usual, actually very heavy on the rifles in the second round. Just going directly into it. 4 rifles for these guys. Only Dap's going to buy up a Mac-10, so focusing pretty quickly on getting these guns in their hands and more than likely saving them for that first gun round too.
Yeah, Fugly's going to be the one with the scout. Tarek spot up, so is Hayes. Cutler has a deagle. It's not a full buy from everyone on the CLG side. But as you said, against these rifles, still a long way to go. Also, Daps with the Mac-10 can, at least they have one member who can investigate, who can try and find some kind of information. If he happens to die, it's not the biggest loss in the world. Although he is very much alone. There's no chance of him being, if he does fall, being traded off. But he does skirt around some aggression. JDM is aggressive in bathrooms. Cutler is aggressive towards long, and Fugly with that scout is just now falling back towards the A site to rotate. It does look like Optic is going to be content just to hit this B bomb site. Daps is just going to push forward aggressively towards A, see what he can find, and if he sees a stack, they're just going to go. Gets tagged by the scout. That's through the edge of the wall, though, so it's not too damaging. He's getting flanked upon from behind. And more than likely, he is going to fall.
And as they roll out here, it's mainly going to be that number 8-man Daps. It's looking for a way into the A bomb site. JDM trying to get a little sneaky. That doesn't work so well. And meanwhile, the rest of the team actually falling back to regroup with him too, but Daps is going to get dinked pretty low. Not really dinked, but just shot right in the face. And that brings him down to 1 HP. Not looking very good for him. And Cutler has a potential flank lined up too. If nobody checks that connect area, could have been able to upset, but Daps catches him that time. Despite him having 1 HP, he's still able to frag and pick up an additional kill for himself. And
there's Rush as well, just holding for that peak. It works perfectly. So Optic has squeezed this bomb site, applied enough pressure to where the defense cracks. Tarek's going to be trying to get something done. He also dinks Naf down to about 11, but can't finish off the kill. It's just hazed. And his only real option is just to fall away from this and try and save the gun. There's one member of this B bomb site. That's going to be Stanislaw, just making sure that if Hazed is here still, he can't fall back through the site. But Hazed is content at the moment to just chill. So it's going to be 2-0 for Optic. Another good start for them, surviving the second round bye out of CLG.
And Hazed, unfortunately, not a whole lot he can do. Does manage to surprise Mixwell a little bit there. But Rush going to be turning the tables now, trying to take him down. He's got him at 2 HP. There we go, finishing him off. Optic Gaming only losing 1 player this time around.
It's an AK-47 though that they lost and weren't able to save up. So a little bit of success. They're not enough to make any kind of investment worth it, but a little bit of a bummer there for Mixwell on the Optic side. But now they should be going forward into this. One thing to note, I like to point this out, JDM, the AWPer on CLG, he did not invest anything into that last round. He's got 3,400 this time because he wants to have that AWP on the 4th round, the most important round to get them started on the defense.
But from Optic, it's a split to start us off. 2 players heading back over here towards Monster area, with 3 more possibly pushing over towards the A-bomb site. Mixwell, though, is off to a hot start. He's already picked up Cutler, Fugly looking for an up-close response, but only finds Daps, and Daps is the one that actually grabs 2 here. In addition to taking out Fugly, he grabs JDM just a few moments later. Only 2 left alive have been split. Got Hayes here on the B-bomb site, or apologies, Tarek on the B-bomb site, but they're going to very quickly make mincemeat of him. And Hayes now is the last one left alive. Probably just rushed on the B-bomb site, try to find a kill on a good angle if he can pick one up, but it's Optic that'll start 3-0.
Nice damage on the Rush. Gonna push forward so we can get that kill. Not gonna happen. Rush does sustain. So now into the gun round. JDM is going to have that AWP and armor as well. Although he could go for light armor to get some utility. He'll get at least a smoke or a couple flashbangs to help cover a retreat. Question is going to be how aggressive does he want to get it towards party? How aggressive does he want to peek up? So he's going to go for 2 flashes. 4 smokes aside this on the CLG side. No kits whatsoever. And actually Optic, they're going to keep the Mac-10s. They have 2 of them, Daps and Mixwell. They're going to move forward into the round, and it's not a bad idea, especially because with the investment in the second round, CLG can't afford head armor. There's always that debate of whether you buy head armor or not on the CT side. Well, it could get punished here in this round, this decision to save a little bit of money or just because they just didn't have it.
As they shift their way up, CLG actually fairly passive about their hold towards the A-bomb site. They probably won't meet an encounter back over here towards the bathrooms, as most of their guys are just outside of that site at the entrance to the bathrooms from the CT direction of it. But Tarek gonna get hit by a nade. Not really all that much damage, only bringing him down to 89. But it's enough to keep the pressure over here and have the members of Optic ready for, have the members of CLG rather, ready for a potential hit to come into the B-bomb site. As Optic are lining up for one, and it's gonna be an all-in attempt. No fakes or anything thrown over towards the A-bomb site. Everybody concentrated on making their entry here.
Mixwell actually going to lead the way, actually try and use this D. Actually, nope, he switches over. Molotov comes out. He's going to just try and gain control of water, and he does it perfectly. Gets that first kill. Tarek gets a second. He has been a monster in this position in the past for CLG. He gets 2 kills, gives him a chance to get into this retake, but can it happen? Molotov and smoke combination to prevent anyone from pushing forward onto the planter. Mixwell still has water, but still, I mean, it's down to 2 MAC-10s though. What are they going to be able to do here with this firepower?
One's going to be a little bit more close up, and Daps can provide a bit of a distraction. He's also got an AK in front of him too, but definitely does not want to risk pushing out. And so far, nobody checking down inside of that pit position, but I'm assuming they will. Daps a pretty slow distraction there, but as Mixwell tries to hide in the corner, it doesn't pay off so well. JDM actually goes off in this round, picks up 3 to 5 of the kills. But regardless, CLG will be finding the first gun. I'm looking at the 3-1. But note, though, Optic didn't really have to invest anything at all into this round, so they should still have plenty of cash left over to go for another buy.
Especially with the bonus. And that MAC-10, keeping the MAC-10s looked so good initially because they pushed forward, they did their job, they got the opening kill and got some advanced positions, but they were never able to swap out to the M4 and AK-47. So the retake from CLG was a little bit easier based off the benefit that those MAC-10s really couldn't challenge anything at range. They had to try and wait. They couldn't cover the planter after it gets the bomb down. So CLG gets away with one there. They survive with 3 members alive, so they're able to build up some money.
And now Fugly going to be working his way down with a couple other teammates actually to try and get aggressive this time and prevent anybody from getting control of the connector area. A good Molotov tossed out by Daps. So to hold these players back for the time being, they'll boost up to watch for a push from the alternate tube there, but at the same time, most of the pressure from Optic is being shifted over towards the A site. Short A along with the park area, but there's Daps finding the first kill, and he grabs a second as well onto Fugly. So good start for Optic, and CLG now very, very weak on their A site defense if Optic decides to push through with this.
Daps has been very effective in these 2 maps for Optic. Down to 12 HP, but he's done his job. Now he can just sit back and be a little bit more passive. Got to allow the others to have some success. 3 M4s left, not a whole lot of utility. A minute left in the round. A smoke and a Molotov that can delay in these choke points. 4 flashbangs to work with on the CLG side. There goes the Molotov towards short, so Tarek can at least have 7 seconds in which his attention can go over towards Monster instead of short, and he's going to follow that up with a smoke. He does have a teammate that's rotated over, that's Hayes. Cutler's the only one on this A-bomb site, and Optic is still very spread out, just seeing if they can gather any information, and Daps is going to be the one that goes looking for it. Pop flash, easy kill for Tarek. And that's going to force Optic back towards the A-bomb site, and Hayes already has a jump on the rotate.
So the guys on CLG moving themselves very quickly back up to this A-bomb site. Still might have a small chance to stop this play from working, but Cutler's been boxed out. Now they should be in an okay position to grab the plant as soon as they dispatch of Hayes, and that's going to be the first thing to do. Mixwell picks up that kill, the final 2 rotating in, but in a 4-on-2, although Optic does not have a lot of utility, the problem, though, is that they've used most of this now, and it's keeping CLG held at bay for the time being, so Optic's going to be in such a secure post-plant position now that there's not a whole lot of hope. Cutler finds 1 pickup on the NAF, but very heavy consequences. He's now down at 13 HP. That's
an okay fight to take with your NAF because you've dealt enough damage to at least force him away. So Optic's completely fine with losing that. Mixwell's on the hunt as well. Doesn't want Tarek to keep that weapon. It's not going to happen. Stan also flanking. He's got an op towards short. Cutler's the next one that's going to be under pressure. Is Mixwell able to find him? Not initially. Nice play from Cutler to at least make this a costly hunt. And now the question is, Stan, does he want to risk losing that AWP? He's not going to be too aggressive with it, just wants to contain Cutler in that B bomb site for Rush, who drops down, been dealt a lot of damage, and Cutler's just going to bail out.
So he falls away, and Optic will find a 4th round. It responds, it resets CLG. Not a whole lot of money left over for most of their teammates here, so despite the fact that Cutler has saved a gun, I don't really think that they're going to be able to justify forcing up on the rest of the other 4 of his team, and that's going to be exactly the case. Just upgrading a couple pistols to round out around the 2K margin. They'll be buying up after this round, more than likely.
Spread out across the map is Optic, looking for any kind of a push. They know they've reset the economy. They don't want to don't want to have to deal with any kind of cheese where CLG pushes up and gets aggressive and they're caught unawares. So staying very far back on the map, very passive and conservative into this round. They do have to find out where Cutler's playing with the M4, and it's actually, he's between both of the bomb sites. He's playing a rotation position, so if his teammates spot something early enough, he can rotate with that M4 and get into position to do some kind of damage, see what he can find. But so many advantages for Optic in this round, including Mixwell with an AWP.
And Optic now making a lot of ground for free, and CLG not really holding a whole lot of resistance to try and stop that. Most of them just focusing on their site defenses and not really trying to go out beyond that. And this round is almost a wash for CLG right from the get-go because Optic are going to have such a straightforward time taking all this map control. Even if something goes wrong, so they decide to go for a pretty straightforward A-hit, there's nothing stopping them from falling back and trying to change that up to go for the other bomb site. But it does look like they are sending that bomb down through connector now. So we'll be moving over to the B-bomb site, which is away from where CLG have put a lot of their own assets. They thought this was going to be a pretty straightforward A-hit, but it's not the case. And now Hayes has to hold off a lot, just a measly little P250.
Yeah, that smoke's going to block off Cutler, who's up top, so he's actually got to jump out through that smoke to get into water. Flash from Hayes works initially, but he can't pick a target quick enough, and there it goes. Cutler, no effectiveness with that M4. Stan drops him immediately, and they're even going to stream into water. Tarek gets that kill, but he's out of bullets, and Naf trades him off. Gets a second as well. Overwhelming aggression from Optic on entering that bomb site, and CLG gets suffocated. They didn't invest anything into the round, and they only had the one M4 that was saved, so no huge issue there, but Optic up towards 5, and this can't happen the way that Train happened. CLG cannot have that much of a hill to climb in the second half. They have to start getting on the board soon.
Especially not with Optic on T side too, when you generally expect this to be a much more CT-centric map. Optic leading, as soon as they get near like 7 or 8 rounds, that's where it's very, very dangerous for CLG, even if they do run the comeback by that point, as that is a lot of rounds on T side that you don't normally expect to be stacked up here. So they win another one, and again, it's minimal losses, so the money continues to stack up here as well for the players on Optic Gaming.
This is a tough situation for CLG to be in, though, because they can't afford an op on JDM. But they do kind of have to buy this round. They just don't really have great money. They have a FAMAS, they have an MP9 on Fugly, and then, like I said, JDM with the op is just much, much scarier than he is on the M4. Although I have been told by CLG that he has been deathmatching with the M4 and the AK now, so he's trying to kind of, you know, remove that weakness from his game. Just maybe not there quite yet. That Molotov that Daps throws burns Fugly. Stan's able to find that on Hayes, even though Hayes got the jump on him. He's down to 12. But he is going to get away.
With an opening advantage now, we'll see where Optic tries to move it towards. It looks like they're shifting a lot of the players back over here towards outside of the park again. But
you could see CLG wanted to pinch on those short sewers. They wanted that push with Hayes to be met with those guys at door, but or at least for JDM to be able to spot that one player that Hayes fell to. But because of the Molotov that was thrown in Underpass, it forces him away.
And now Optic still held back a little bit here over towards long A, but they are ready to move forward with it. Naf actually failing to jump on top of the flyer pod a couple of times, so just face checks it instead. There's nothing here, it's all good. And he can just move his way out to the side if he wants to. Molly first, though, to try and block things off and see if that baits out any players, but it's not doing the job. Most of CLG is safely tucked away, watching for a bathrooms push instead.
Yeah, playing this very, very passively. JDM does have one smoke that's over towards the B bomb site, though. It's him and Tarek. JDM could have a jump on a quick flank up stairwell if he is so inclined to be that aggressive. But Naf is going to be the first number of aggression. Fugly, he's low on HP, takes a challenge. Spray gets converted over to his position. It's Cutler who finds the first kill, and there it is. Fugly around the edge of the smoke. It's a doable retake until Rush kind of shuts down Fugly. 3-on-2, though, and Stan is extremely low.
Flank going to be coming in a moment here from JDM as he wraps around. Stanislaw is watching out for something like this, but the question now is JDM going to peek all the way over, and he's not going to do so in time, so Stanislaw just taps it away, finishes off JDM into a 2v2 situation. Also, a lot of time has been wasted. They are actually hitting Rush through that smoke, but I don't think they realize it as of yet. So he's going to try to hop out of the way. Not going to work out, though. And Stanislaw fires too early, but doesn't matter. He finds another kill, and the final one. Stanislaw does all this with just 12 HP, ends up with a 4K out of the round in the big clutch to give another one to Optic Gaming.
What a sick transfer over to that second player. I think that was Tarek that meets an unlucky end. And it's just a nightmare for CLG. It continues from Train. That was the round. They had it. They had a 2-on-1 against 12 HP, and they can't convert it. So nicely done from Stanislaw. Mixwell's back on the op, and CLG is back on pistols.
And with nothing else to do, by playing the passive strat, or with really them never gaining any advantage by playing the passive strat, they're going to try to play aggressively this time. 3 guys pushing all the way out was long A, not finding anything early on because Optic have gone for a big focus on pushing into this B bomb site very quickly. Hayes, nice flashbang, and also a nice jump over there too to grab Naf while still midair. But Daps is going to be able to respond to that. Takes down Hayes. Final three are trying to move in down through connector, but Daps should be able, yeah, I think you just heard it now. Daps, I was going to say, Daps should be able to hear these players rotating back in. It's all about stopping them. And even if he ends up going down with only 18 HP, the rest of these guys should be able to make up for that.
Yeah, but he knows exactly where they are. I think he heard at least two. And the door opens, and Fugly finds that kill. Still going to be difficult for them to get this AK-47. This flashbang isn't going to do anything. Mixwell tags Cutler. Pulls up the Tech 9. Can't complete it just yet. And there it is. JDM now holding the angle. And even Fugly rotating all the way around towards T-spawn. He's cut out by Stan. And JDM, there's really not too much more to him for him to do, and he's just going to run through and challenge, try and see if he can get a kill. Not going to work out. 7-1 for Optic. And again, the buy is going to come out for CLG, but it's not very, well, it's strong on at least 4 players. JDM's not able to get armor with the AWP, but the other 4 should be able to make up for it. This is the most utility they've had in some time.
But now Optic, with them running away, this has to stop right now. CLG need to start racking up some rounds, and it needs to be consistent too. Having a reset economy, I think this already happened once earlier on in the half, but having to be reset once again and having them have to build up their own economy, they cannot deal with this. So a lot more aggressively still from CLG. Like I said, they've sort of said we're done with the more passive style of play on the CT side. Now that they have the guns in their hands. Fugly and Cutler have pushed up, both hiding behind the rocks and the trees, just around the corner there. But Optic does not really want to screw around with that. Most of their players are heading over towards Quad right now, but they molly it off, and that's actually great. Forces Cutler out into the open. He's going to fall back behind his teammate, but Mixwell picks up that kill. And then following that, Rush also takes down Cutler. Very well played as well with that utility. Yeah,
perfect execution there from Optic. The molly is just so brutal. Cutler can't cover Fugly, and then he's out in the open with nowhere to go. And this happens very early in the round, so look at how it spreads apart this defense. Stan's able to lurk into B. Tarek's not expecting that whatsoever. Now, Stan, likewise, has a nade out. He knows where Hazed is. And Optic, if they speed things up towards this A bomb site, they could have a 4-on-1. It's just JDM with the AWP playing at truck. He has got to have a stellar performance. Although Hazed jumps on the rotate, he's going to get here in time. Rush is slowed down. He's been spotted out, but JDM can't get anything going. Hayes has to push through the Molotov. Naf getting the bomb down, and Hayes doesn't realize it's right in front of him. They line up, he gets 2, but off the bomb, Naf finishes it off.
Almost a good play from Hayes. Just a little bit too quick on the reaction there from Naf. So Optic swing another victory, and CLG still with nothing to show for that. Unfortunately.
This is a slaughter.
Yeah. Optic, like, here's the thing too, is that with CLG, it's not even that they're putting up some close fights. For the most part, Optic is just running over them round after round. They're just taking them down, and same thing as like we saw in Train too. They get the early advantage. They get like 2 or 3 kills in the beginning of the round. There's nothing left for CLG to do towards the end. When they get to plan, if the 2 aren't on the site, then, well, they have to save. And if they are on the site, they just get run over anyway by Optic in a 5-on-2.
Yeah, I mean, that's the big thing as well, is that so many battles are won early on by Optic. They have such big advantages that even when CLG, one of their members, makes a big play inside of a bomb site, when the execution does come in, it doesn't ever give them a win or put them ahead. It just kind of evens things out, and then Optic's even able to outlast in those situations. So it's tough right now at the moment for CLG, feeling like they can't do anything right.
But this round, Optic focusing right now on a B hit, with their players still aggressively pushing outside into the bathrooms area. JDM, along with Fugly, mainly doing this at this point. To defend that B-bomb site, you've got Hayes along with Tarek. No other assistance nearby just as of yet, and Optic slowly pushing in. I think Mixwell had spotted Tarek. He's going to connect, but not all that much. However, that grenade is going to finish him off. Locked in the hot box, so Mixwell's going to finish him off.
The hot box. Speaking of hot, 2 Molotovs come out. Dangerous situation. Oh, there it is. Hayes and Fugly combined for 1. Hayes is still alive. Rush and Stan are low. I think Naf must have heard JDM. Maybe not. He doesn't turn around for it. So JDM could have a decent flank, and he hears the spam. He knows the nade's out, and the reload's happening. Rush does trade it off. Down to a 2-on-1. Hayes still with an opportunity. Still alive in water with an AK. He's giving up his position, though, and Mixwell challenges through the smoke. That's not wise. And now it's all a timing game with him and Rush is going to win it out. 3 kills for him in the round, 2 for Mixwell. Saves the AWP moving forward. Another buy for CLG. It's been a never-ending cycle of buy, save for the CLG side. Now, what's crazy is that there's been a decent amount of rounds won by Optic. They've only actually lost 1 round in this match, obviously, but the money hasn't built up as much as we've seen on previous maps and in previous matches. I mean, a lot of times when they have, you know, 6 rounds in a row, like on Train, we saw a couple of the Optic members sitting around like 12K, 16K, 14K. Now they're all, you know, hovering. You know, only 2 really have around 8K. So it's not like their economy is the strongest we've ever seen, but if CLG can't reset it at some point, if they can't win this round, then it's going to be really, really hard for them to have a solid half here. I mean, they can still salvage this.
Most of Optic Gaming this time, though, looking for a push back over here towards short A. Naps wanted to push up from Connector, but he does meet some resistance this time from the CT side, and JDM too, waiting for these guys to push out, but they're going to instead hug the wall here as they know they're getting close. That still allows JDM to pick up the first kill since he gets the early warning. No other action happening just as of yet, but Fugly, inside of the bathroom connector itself, picks up a kill. Mixwell responds, shuts down JDM, and Fugly caught trading guns too. Naps is going to walk right into his face. Cutler does push out to the bathrooms again and take down Daps. So only 2 left alive for this T side, and also they're playing it pretty slowly too as they push out towards long A. They're still going for the A hit, but they're allowing time for Hayes to rotate back up from that B bomb site.
Oh, Cutler misses a couple shots on a Mixwell, but it's 2 ops for the Optic side. There's Mixwell. Still have Hayes in the site. He's transferred over. Molly's going to miss as well, so that's no good. And Tarek catches Mixwell out in the open. Naf completely blind. He's got to fall away. He has a one-on-one isolated here, though. Tarek's getting close up to his right. He's not even going to be able to get that one. Tarek finds it. Second round for CLG, and they salvage both ops, which is huge. But they've got to string them together. They must.
That's the big question. Can they win more than 1 in a row?
Well, I look at the money now, because this is where I say they can salvage the half. The money for Optic really is not that good anymore. Mixwell sitting at 5,600 is nice, but you see Daps and Rush both below 1,000. And look at this, pick up the pace from Optic. They want to surprise CLG. Hayes gets an early spot, but can they slow it down? There's the almost a double, and he does eventually find it on the second shot. And the Molotov on short has slowed him down, so huge advantage for CLG now.
JDM picks up a kill and a rush. This round's basically over now. No damage done at all to the members of CLG. The final 2 stuck in construction. Daps going to try to peek out. Hayes has spotted that, but Daps wins the opening engagement. Unfortunately, Stanisla's got crouching around the corner, so Tarek's going to find that kill. Look at the final one. Not going to find it as of yet, but Fugly wrapping around on the flank. Does catch it, and that's a much better round from CLG this time as they pick up a 3rd.
Mixwell can drop 2 if they want to try and bind to this one, or they could just let CLG get up towards 4 and just try and go for the 11-4 half. So they are going to be a little bit more passive. Mixwell dropping some pistols over to his teammates, so they don't have to spend the money. He's got plenty. But Tarek with the op. He's now 10-10. Hayes is 8-11. But CLG only has 3 rounds. They need to get at least 5 if they're going to have a chance in the second half.
Fugly getting flashed out early on there, but not a lot of pressure coming in his direction. Might decide to go down inside of the connector area instead. But actually getting a bit cautious of them pushing towards us. He's got a molly ready to roll. Don't believe he ends up tossing it out in that direction now, but Fugly just falls back inside of the bathroom area and waits for a push to come towards party.
He's got JDM supporting as well, guarding his left, so he doesn't have to worry about that for the moment. And there's a nice shot. Drops Rush straight to the face. He's able to fall away as well. Stan's going to start getting ground. That Molotov's going to hold him back. That flashbang is just an annoyance, and here comes the push with the P250s. JDM's brought so low, but they're not having any success here. CLG holds on. It's a slaughter, 4-9. CLG inching their way back into this.
Of course, now Optic coming off of that save, going to be able to immediately reinvest. Mixwell gets the op back into his hands, full utility as well, and the rest of the team buying up AKs and everything else they would need. But CLG finally seem to have found a bit of a footing to work with here, and they're going to have enough cash, regardless of the outcome of this round, to buy up for not just this round, but the final round too, even if Optic does find a 10th. So getting a good footing, but now that Optic has guns back into their hands, maybe they'll throw something else at the guys from CLG. But from CLG, look at it. They're still being extremely aggressive. This is where they finally found some success, so they're going to keep to it. JDM is pushed all the way up towards party. He gets flashed, though, and the timing's just a little bit off. It's moving away now as he tries to leap away, but Naf is going to be able to grab it. Naf also getting the location, too, of Fugly. Almost misses the opportunity as he comes up that spray at the last moment, but he does end up grabbing the kill. Tarek with the first response for the CT side as he takes down Stanislaw. Ooh. Daps almost walking into another bullet, too. But thankfully for him, Optic is not going to get hit by that for now. And they'll keep a one-man advantage, but that's immediately traded out. Cutler finding a kill, tries to duck inside, but Naf is ready for him. It takes down Cutler. Hayes on the site, shuts down Naf, and he's going to be trying to flash this out. He does get hit by the Molotov. For the time being, Mixwell did decide to fall back.
It's a 2-on-2 with a minute left. Optic decides to split up. Rush staying over at long. Mixwell is towards the B bomb site, just throwing a distraction, but Hayes has an aggressive position, and Mixwell might just walk right into this, and he does. So Mixwell falls, and this turns it into a 1-on-2. Rush is gonna turn the corner. He gets that kill, and now Tarek's so incredibly far away. It's gonna be such a difficult 1-on-1. He's got an AWP as well. He's already walking, so this is gonna eat up a lot of time because he doesn't want Rush to know where he is. If Rush is getting aggressive, which he has been a little bit.
Rush is posting up, though, in a position that's very out in the open in the event. Tarek can get himself out, but Tarek has to check that wall just to his left as he works his way up towards the bank entry point. Looking over towards it, not going to be able to spot him as of yet. No, he doesn't check it at all. It's, oh, what? That's a headshot, too. Shuts down Rush on the no-scope, and Tarek, with a magical clutch, finds CLG their 5th round.
All right, then, Tarek. What a ridiculous shot. Oh, I can't even. Rush, there's no reason he should have lost that match. Tarek gets a bit fortunate with the no-scope. So 5 now for CLG, and they have made this a comeback. I said they had to have 5 to have a chance, and if they get 6, that would be amazing. Based off how this half was looking at a certain point, for them to rattle off a bunch here at the end. I think it's been 4 straight at this point. If they're able to get to 5 straight, that'd be such a good turnaround. The jump from Daps. He gets shot in the foot, but he doesn't fall, and then Mixwell returns on a Cutler.
So now Optic back in the mix here, into a 5-on-3 scenario. Auto Sniper in play. We've got to mention this too on Fugly right now. He's playing it over towards long. Not a lot of action happening, but if he can successfully fall back to that site, and if it's going to be a straightforward push again from Optic Gaming, where they just throw all their players at the day bombs, that he could do a whole lot of damage if he's in the right position. But right now, might be overextending a little bit, considering where 2 of these guys are. Apologies, 3 of these guys are from the side of Optic, closer to the A-bomb site. He spots some of it, but I don't think he realizes just how close Stanislaw is. And there's the auto sniper. Grabs the first kill and a half with it.
4-on-3 still, though. And actually, Stan has got a pretty advanced position towards the A-bomb site, but he hasn't wanted to do anything with it. He hasn't been very aggressive. He's just kind of hiding in bathrooms, keeping control of that for his team. They still haven't decided to move anywhere, although the auto sniper has rotated away, or no, excuse me, Hayes has rotated away. There's Fugly with the auto sniper falling. So the A-bomb site is open. Dap's going to lurk, and he's going to find Tarek. Does massive damage. They're both extremely low. But the bomb is going to get planted A, so it's another tough retake for CLG.
Hayes moving in. Does manage to catch Daps, so brings it down to a 2-on-2 again. Daps is caught in his lurk, so Tarek very low at 13 HP. As he moves up there, Stanislaw going to be able to take down Hayes, and Tarek, with him being the slow, the odds are so out of his favor now for him to try and pick this one back up. He's going to try to creep in, but actually, yeah, I was about to say, did they not spot him around the corner? But there we go. Rush is going to close out. It'll be a 10-5 half in the favor of Optic Gaming.
I thought he might try for a couple more no-scopes.
It looked like he wanted to go for one there for a second.
Why not?
Well, this worked one time.
That was such a ridiculous one-on-one. Tarek just completely caught off guard. But 10-5, I mean, they don't get towards 6, which would have been great, but you got to say, I mean, that's a good recovery. At least giving themselves an opportunity. I mean, it's still very, very far away from them based off the fact that they were on the CT side with only 5 rounds, but that they were getting beaten up so badly and still able to just put off a streak of 4 to at least give themselves a chance is okay. So we'll have to see what the defense is going to come out with the Optic side, because as we've mentioned a couple times during these broadcasts, is that North America does tend to be a little bit more T-sided. And
especially when you consider CLG2 is going to be doing it over here on Overpass. Back on train, very one-dimensional T-side, very easy for Optic to read and punish. But this is off of the fact that Optic gets such a huge advantage early on in the half. If CLG now, just like we saw Optic do in this first half, if they get an early advantage here and Optic are not able to do that like they've had such freedom to do so often, then we could be looking at a pretty swift comeback, especially with the scoreline being much closer than we've had in some of our matches tonight, 10-5.
Tarek's taking a bathroom break?
It would seem so.
Gone AFK?
He didn't have time to get hype after that no scope, so he's making up for that now.
He's just running around
outside
the CLG house, celebrating and screaming.
Splice style, of course.
So we did mention, I mean, this is big match for Optic. If they can close this one out and go 2-0 on the night, that would be huge for their prospects at making it to those finals in the UK. They're one of those teams up at the top that we mentioned is tied, or was tied, with about 3 or 4 other teams in the standing. So 2 wins here for them would be excellent. CLG trying to play spoiler, trying to come back into this one. But again, so difficult playing from behind like they did on Train. Can they complete it this time?
Optic also has a much better chance in the event of a tiebreaker to like actually make it out of that, because they hold a 2-0 advantage over a lot of the other top teams. In the event that that would happen, they would by default beat both Cloud9 and Luminosity Gaming. If for some reason Luminosity was not able to get beyond that and they only got 16 wins throughout the season.
Daps spots out the first. That's Tarek. Takes 1 shot but doesn't commit to any fight, just falls away. 2 nades on Naf and Rush. They also have kits, so they have some tools if they want to retake. CLG has gained control of bathrooms. They've gained control of the top of the stairs. And where do they go with it? Because they still just have 2 members. One watching the underpass with the door, the other watching for a B push, and it's Optic Gaming. This is the scary part of this tactic from Optic, as they push 2 out towards long. This is so far away from the B bomb site. They've got to circle through bathrooms and get closer, more centralized on the map in case this hit comes in, because that's exactly what it looks like it's going to happen. And even NAF is on the rotate over, so Optic has a great read now of what's going on. This information gathering play, it's been excellent for him.
And as they push their way in, it's all going to fall to Mixwell first. He gets the intel that these guys are pushing in, but it's Naf and Rush, and now Mixwell that come in and finally pick up some frags. Tarek responds one of his own. Naf trying to tap away, but can't get it. However, at the end of the day, Optic just completely overwhelmed CLG on this site. Get a good read, and they're also extremely fast to rotate down to cover this site. So CLG are not going to be able to pick up the first round here, and Optic will keep their lead going strong as they headway themselves into the second half.
That's really cool from Optic, being proactive on the CT side in the mid-round, not seeing anything for some time, not feeling too much pressure, so they're the ones who decide to make the play to get the good read, and it works out perfectly for them. They have a fast flank, and they have a rotate cheated over towards the B bomb site. Both pistols go in their favor, and Mixwell, again, taking a quick shot, but not committing to any kind of a fight, falling away before Fugly can wrap behind him. He's going to get a shot off, but that nade at least forces him back without doing too much damage.
Counterlogic Gaming, though, just pushing themselves up towards bathroom, but there's, again, this is another thing, too, that we saw from Optic a lot before, was the good utilities to just hold back CLG when they were back on their T side.
It's a little bit scary, though. They used 3 smokes in 3 different locations, so these are all going to go away at the same time, and then CLG can have an advance. They can actually execute onto the bomb site. If they're to use, you know, 2 smokes in 2 different places and save 1 for later on, they can at least together cover that one angle that they don't have smoked, and they still have more utility for later on in the round. Now look at all the ground that CLG's gained once the smokes dissipate.
They're going to slowly push up towards it, though. Mixwell trying to spot out towards long A. I think he saw Cutler, but he didn't want to try and strike on him as of yet. Yeah, he's definitely spotted him as he's going out to try and tap away at it now, but not the case. And CLG even having second thoughts about this kind of a push, too. They're going to see how Cutler works. Not very well, unfortunately, but Hayes does grab a response with the Deagle. One digs Naf. Also, Fugly finding another pickup, but Daps around the corner here. A little messy on the spray, and he actually runs out of bullets, so he's not going to grab anybody. Rush gets 2, but Hayes responds to that one. It's down to a 1v1, but however, he doesn't realize just how close Stanislaw is to that smoke. So peekaboo and surprise. It shuts down Hayes, and Optic win another round, but at a heavy cost to their players. There's only 1 makes it out of that round alive. Yeah,
very heavy cost. Some really good shots of those deagles to enter into the bomb site, and actually Optic's very lucky they cheated a 4th person over that bomb site, or else that could have been completely lost. Because they got a quick jump on the rotate, they could sustain some of those trades and still win the round, but if he hadn't been there, it could have been a 2-on-2 post-plant situation where there might have been an advantage for CLG depending on how much time they'd had to get away. But they've done the damage, they've done a lot to the economy of Optic to break it down. Mixwell close up, he's gonna fall, and so does Naf. Blunder there early on from Optic gives a lot of room to work with the CLG.
CLG making very, very quick movements closer to that A-bomb site, too. I think they're going to try to hit this as quickly as possible. Pressure falls to Rush now to try and stop this. Sees one rounding the corner. Thankfully, though, Stanislaw has arrived at this bomb site just in the nick of time, and I think that they will be able to shut down the remaining pressure. Tarek is the last one. Has to pull away from the A hit as he moves himself over towards long A instead. With a minute 10 left on the clock, a very low chance of him actually saving this rifle. So I'm just going to go for the site take and see what he can work with.
Any damage would be good, but like you said, low HP already, no armor. You can see the aim punch there just ruins any opportunity Tarek has of taking down Rush. So 13-5, CLG's got to get started right now. They cannot have a slow start to the half the way they did last time. And the op on JDM at least gives them a very powerful tool to use to do just that. Optic, as we saw in the first half, when they saved 2 MAC-10s into the 4th round, they're going to have 2 FAMASs, they're going to have the MP9 still on Daps. Outside of that, it's a couple M4s on Mixwell and Naf. That's going to be the big heavy hitters for the Optic side. CLG only sending 1 member towards the B bomb site. 4 are going to stream out, 3 are going to stream out towards Party. And here's some aggression from Optic. Is this going to be a boost up?
Yes, Chow. Takes a minute to post it up, but it pays off as Mixwell grabs Hayes. He's blind firing in the direction. I think he might have spotted the attempt, but he doesn't connect really any shots at all.
I don't think he spotted the boost. I think he spotted someone through the smoke and thought he might be trying to push or just trying to fire at that angle. But either way, he gets punished. So the boost works out for Optic. And now look, more smart play out of them. More fundamentally strong play is just falling back after you get that opening pick, forcing CLG to come to you with the man disadvantage.
Fugly trying to figure out if he wants to try and make this hit over here towards Monster. Probably not going to be the smartest idea, as Optic are ready to hold this back, but with a minute left on that clock, they need to make a decision as to where they want to take this hit towards very soon, as they're still very divided right now. 4 players, 2 of them are completely separate from the actual main group, which is pushing towards long A right now. And beyond this, they don't really have a whole lot of map control either. Yeah,
well, the good news is they have Tarek and Stairs who has control, so if they want to rotate away from this A-bomb site, away from bathrooms, down towards the B site, they can do that quickly. And the issue is Daps is advanced as well as Mixwell. And it looks like CLG, 30 seconds left. This bomb is pretty much committed towards the A-bomb site, but actually, I mean, they've got to fall. They've got to bring 1 back. Tarek's going to clear that. It's a little bit too late. That eliminates 1 prong of the attack. There's Cutler, though. A little bit interesting that Mixwell wasn't prepared for that whatsoever. It was really the only thing that they could get punished by. And Fugly, he had a long rotate to make to get around and get into the action, but he's finally here.
Daps trying to find his way back into the site pretty quickly. Fugly only grabs a 1-for-1 trade. And as Daps moves forward now, we're also going to be having Naf slowly round his way back up to the site too in just a moment, lining up behind these players. Nobody's even looking to bank right now either. They're all focused on bathrooms. So Naf grabs that first one for free, and the second one too. JDM only picks up 1 kill. So some good damage being done once more, but the problem is economical victories are no longer victories anymore when you're this far into the game. Optic Gaming has such a huge lead that CLG need to win out from this point forward.
Yeah, at least the plant is going to allow them to have a little bit stronger of a buy. Otherwise, they might just be in too much trouble. Yeah, without that $800, they'd be in a really tough spot. But they do have that, so they can get some AK-47s on the board. They're going to be light on utility, but they should be able to have 4 or 5 AKs. They're going to go for all 5. But look at what nades they can bring to the party. 3 smokes, 2 flashbangs. That's it. It's all they have for this entire round.
They will push themselves in 2 directions once more. Should be grouping back up towards construction, but Naf is going to be the one player that has to try and get in the way of this, as there is that focus on connector once again. And currently, Tarek is trying to push his way towards a clear out for his teammates. 2 more also, with the bomb I should mention too, pushing out towards the fountain area, and beyond that over towards short A, but there's a lot of resistance there from Optic, so Optic have posted up in some pretty good spots, and so long as that short A defense doesn't fall, they should be in good shape. However, Tarek is going to get a great opener for CLG by taking down Naf, and just like in that last round, getting some very early connector control.
Yeah, that's a good start. So 5 on 4. They've eaten some good damage, though. I mean, JDM's down to 55, Hayes down to 68. Tarek's the only one who's actually in a gunfight. He's down to 78. So the other 2 have taken a lot of nade damage still. It's going to come down. It's how efficient these 3 smokes are going to be when they decide to execute. Because the bomb is coming back towards the B site. Tarek still has control of the stairwell. But actually, Optic has a pretty solid read going on. They have 3 members leaning over towards the B site. I mean, Rush is kind of playing a rotator between each. The moment he just went back towards A. So if CLG can apply minimal pressure to the A bomb site and start pulling someone away, but that's what happens.
There's a good shot.
Yeah.
Good shot from Mixwell, of course. Shuts down Hayes and now evens things out to a 4-on-4. CLG just biding their time. They have to execute their monster in a second. It's going to fall to Stanislaw to try and hold this away. He's ready with a pop flash. If he times this well, that'd be incredible, because that smoke's going to fade very soon, and he just spotted it too. So here comes the pop flash. Going to be perfect, but it hits him as well, as I think it was just a little bit short. So Cutler's going to take him down, and Tarek takes down Daps as well. Rush up top. Tarek's found another kill into Mixwell, so it's just down to Rush in a 1-on-3. Molly's tossed onto the site. I think that Molly's going to be a little bit too short, so it goes into the smoke and is essentially wasted. Although he gets another good pop flash, does not really have the positional advantage to move out and execute Fugly.
Yeah, I think it's Cutler on the entry that makes the smart play. I think he hears that flashbang bounce off the pillar, and he actually turns around completely. So you could see Stan actually fires into the wall just to make CLG think he's peeking, so they stay focused on that corner, and it blinds 2 of them, but Cutler, since he was turned around, is perfectly capable of saving his teammates. Either way, I mean, it's going to be a round for CLG, a big round as well. They keep 3 alive, and even Tarek has an AWP now to bring forward into the next round for JDM. That's huge. So it's going to be 14-6, though. CLG's got to go on a huge run.
Optic not going to be able to close out the game just as of yet. However, with their victories, the big question now becomes, do they have enough to justify another force? And it looks like, no, unfortunately not. I think Dap's just donating some pistols for his teammates there. So Stanislav, Naf, and Mixwell all a little bit too low to really buy up there. And although Dap's at pretty close to 9K, that's still not enough to drop for 3 of his teammates. So they are going to have to save for at least this one round here before they can afford to buy up once again. And now, on this round, CLG, pretty much the same split this time as Hayes moves himself forward. Rush picks up a first kill with Tarek trades, and there's a very heavy presence from Optic Gaming inside that leads to a 2-on-2 split. But in the meantime, Fugly's been challenged, and he comes out on top there by Monster. And also drawing a fake rotate closer to this B bomb site too. As Mixwell and Naf are going to rotate in hopes of catching the play, but this is not the case. They're taking the long route back over towards long A, and they should be able to get into the A bomb site without any contention at all.
2 AKs though on the Optic side, 2-on-2. The bomb is going to get planted right now. They could go for this. They do have a kit on Mixwell. A couple Molotovs on the CLG side though might just slow this down a bit too much. And now there's a decision to make. If they can't find a kill early on, they maybe want to save these AKs into the next round because they could actually buy, a much stronger buy into the next round. Naf only has 2,000, Mixwell has 3, but Rush is on 2,000 as well. So if they can drop these AKs over, they can have a very solid buy in the next one with Daps, who has 6,000 right now. These AKs could actually be very, very useful, but Mixwell's going to go for it. He falls. Naf has pretty much given this up. He was just going along to clear to maybe work some miracle, but he's going to find absolutely nothing. They'll at least be able to bring it into the next one. 14-7, CLG clawing back into this a little bit. Still a long way to go. The op in JDM's hands, and they're starting to build up some money as well.
Good that Naf survives with that AK-2, as he was the lowest out of anybody on his team, so that's going to give him the free rifle and anything else he needs behind that, whereas the rest of these guys are going to buy. We do see one downgrade coming in on Stanislaus. He has to go for the FAMAS, and Naf's actually going to end up dropping one over towards Rush. He wasn't feeling too confident on his own buy, so he's going to sacrifice utility so that Rush can pick up his own.
Yeah, that's smart as well, because Rush has full utility, so you make up for it in other places. Aggression towards party, though. Is CLG going to be able to stop this? Mixwell, he's going to grab a wide angle with the AWP, and he finds an opening pick.
That's
Cutler,
the bomb.
Yeah, it is the bomb. And Cutler still hasn't peeked out from behind this, so he's going to have the jump. Mixwell gets caught in the open. So good trade by Cutler. Both teams lose their opper, but Daps is going to get re-aggressive, and he might be able to catch someone out. Tarek does fall. And now Daps is going to have a huge play coming ahead. Naf's distracting Cutler long enough. This is going to work out very, very well. Naf gets another one, and Cutler's brought down very low to 12, so the aggression from Optic has worked perfectly. All that's left is the B bomb site for CLG. And Fugly's going to have a nice shot. That starts it off. That's beautiful, and he can at least help Cutler get into the site.
Could be looking to escape at the very least with a plant this round, if not the outright clutch. As Cutler moves in, gotta be priority number 1 as it goes down to the ground. He's gonna stick it, they go for it, but Optic are already here, and they're ready for the retake as well. As they throw over, I think they actually screwed up one of their grenades initially, and they're also going to molly off construction, so not the best start. Not only this, but Fugly gets the kill on Daps, so it's been equalized. However, not expecting 2 to come through Monster, so Daps does trade on the Fugly, and now Cutler's alive with only 12 HP. All utility has been used by him, trying to find that first kill. So close to grabbing Rush, but not going to be the case, and Optic will find now their 15th round.
Yeah, so 8 straight map points for them in this. CLG almost able to make that work. Stan did open up that B bomb, so they at least got a plant, so they have some things they can utilize. There's good money on Cutler and JDM, but JDM's got to buy that up. Cutler can drop an AK-47 over, but there's going to be a couple players on the CLG side who have a tough buy into this round, and actually... Okay, so JDM is going to get the op. He goes glass cannon, though. That's so he can drop an AK-47 over, so that's a big team play. To be a terror side opera without armor can be very, very difficult.
And for CLG here now, it's the same type of opening split that we've seen actually quite a few rounds from these guys. A lot of them moving over here towards the playground area and Fountain. We're gonna have Tarek inside of the connector tunnels, and of course Fugly pushing himself a little bit closer towards the B bomb site just to try and make some noise. So Optic don't get too early of a read on things. And Optic as well, since they are in that much more delicate of an economical situation now, and the risk of being reset, they're not going to play aggressive. They're not going to risk their lives earlier on in this round. They're just going to play back to the sites and see what CLG does decide to throw back at them.
Very, very slow pace from CLG. 3 members out towards long, but Mixwell's there. Doesn't have an op this time. So him and Naf are going to stay grouped up together. They're going to push delayed in towards bathrooms, and they could meet up with Cutler, who's waiting at the moment. Gonna grab a new angle. Naf spots him out, and he actually wins that somehow. He gets hit. It looked like he got hit in the head through the wall, so his aim jerked up, but he's able to control it well enough from there. It's very nice. So a man advantage and some intel gained by the Optic side. Now Daps is able to jump peek, see what he can find. Still CLG's very, very spread out. They're not able to take advantage of any kind of positioning they have whatsoever.
And Mixwell will wait to see for CLG to push in his direction here. It's going to go down to JDM. Still, a lot of pressure from Optic is sitting down in the B bomb state too. So Daps needs to perform, shuts down Hazed. 2 more still going to work their way in from bathroom zone. Now that they've caught some more players here and they can hear the noise, they're going to call for some rotates back over from that B bomb site. It's not looking good for CLG though. They're down. Now they're down even more. Nath finds a kill on a Tarek, and that's the bomb. It's now stuck up on the A bomb site. The final 2 going to have to try and re-push in and get this planet, but they've all rotated in. Rush shuts down JDM, and Rush follows it up with the final kill as well. So Optic going to go 2-0 for tonight. And that puts them into 2nd place for the current standings in Pro League with a record of 14-6.
Yeah, very good night for Optic. Good night, actually, for basically everyone. The only team that really had a shot at the playoffs that really struggled was Renegades. Yeah, and that was against Luminosity. So, I mean, what are you going to do about that one? So, nicely done from Optic to go 2-0. And that gives them a great chance of now qualifying for the LAN Finals. Those huge wins for them. And they look good in both maps. Very dominant wins over CLG, who has been struggling in Pro League. But still, it's a little bit of a bummer. We'll check out the standings now just to show you guys what exactly we've been bringing up between every match, essentially, as the season comes to an end. Show you who's sitting in that playoff race, how these wins have kind of affected the standings. Because Luminosity is still going to be up top in that first place. They're 16-4. Optic's going to be 14-6. Still not solidified in that 2nd place. Energy is at 13-7, and those wins by Optic actually break up a lot of these ties. So it's just Team Liquid, it's Selfless, it's Cloud9 all at 12-6. They were in that 4-way tie with Optic, but no longer. And then Renegades at 11-9. They've only got 2 matches left, so they would have to hope that essentially Liquid, Selfless, and Cloud9 all lose the rest of their matches.
And with Cloud9's final 4 matches being against K-Kona and Splice, there's a very low chance of them actually dropping all 4 of those, unless the earth broke through or something horrible like that.
Unless the 4 horsemen came.
Yeah.
So that's the standings. We do have matches tomorrow for you guys as well. It is going to be a Sunday of action, 4 games to bring you. After the marathon we had today of 6 games, it's going to be Splice versus Cloud9, like you just mentioned, and then Selfless versus